Good Monday morning to you all. Hi. Now, I have been looking through photographs that I took yesterday when I went out for a walk with Jack. Because when I come back from my walk, we come in through the gate and Jack and myself decided to go up through the woodlands. What is now, of course, the beautiful woodland gardens of Bealtaine Cottage. It's gone from food production land in the early days with lots of flowers. It's moved on from there then to a very young woodland, so still a huge amount of light coming through. And just in 14 years it's transformed into this absolutely lush woodland. And from what I was seeing, just looking at these photographs, from yesterday, from what I was observing in the photographs, there has been little or no damage done throughout the drought here at Bealtaine Cottage. Everything's lush. I mean, bar the gravel driveway here and the tunnel, everything is very, very lush. So, oh, do you hear all those children? I think there's a birthday party across the way. All very excited. So I was looking through the photographs and thinking about the lack of will from the Irish government and the EU to plant woodlands in this deforested country, because Ireland is very much a deforested country. From the last stats I looked at, Ireland had the lowest tree cover, deciduous tree cover, in the whole of Europe. Absolutely shameful. Cannot be allowed to continue. This cannot be allowed to continue. So you know the story here at Bealtaine Cottage. I bought this land 14 years ago. It put me into a state of financial penury, which I'm only now beginning to emerge from after 14 years. And I have no regrets about it, because it allowed me to at least own the land and make decisions about the land. And those decisions were all based around planting trees that I wanted. I mean, basically what I wanted is what you see here now. I wanted a cottage in the woods. Well, a cottage in the woods doesn't happen by itself. And the EU and the Irish government seems to have this notion that you just, pay farmers to set aside land and, oh, suddenly you have a woodland. It doesn't happen like that. I mean, they're so blinkered. Well, it's actually stupid. They're stupid. But anyway, look, I have ranted and raved long enough about, the lack of will from the government and the EU to do anything substantial about this problem, which needs to be dealt with ASAP. It should have been dealt with years ago, but it now needs to be dealt with ASAP. So I then began to look at the problem from a different angle. Jack! Jack! Oh, he's a little swine down there. Jack! Come on, up here. So I began to look at the problem from a different angle. Okay, let's take the government and the EU out of it. What have we got left? And suddenly occurred to me. Just based on the few people that I know in this area, so within, say, 20-mile radius, the few people that I know within this area. Jack, come on. Who attend, the anti-fracking meetings, because of course Ireland's now banned fracking, which is wonderful, who are very into permaculture. They're very into all the ecological issues of the age. There's now a huge campaign going on to stop the Sitka spruce forestry, and that's a very abused word because it certainly isn't forestry. The Sitka spruce poisonous planting going on. So you have all these people involved in all these issues that are important issues, and for me they're important as well. And many of those people, and I mean many, not just some, but many of those people have land. Out of the people that I know, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head now, out of the people I know who are involved in issues about the care and welfare of Mother Earth, and who own land, and I mean own land. In some cases, it's been given to them, you know, through family. I would have the least amount of land. I actually have 2.87 acres. That's what I own. I would own more if I had the money to buy it, but this is what I own. So this is what I can, you know, defend. So I can plant it, I can defend it. It's legally mine, it cannot be interfered with. So many of these people actually own land, and some of them, I mean, huge amounts. So we're talking over 10 acres. At the very least, over 5. In many cases, over 10. And in many cases, more than that. And the lack of woodland is staring them in the face. But what I have discovered as well as I've gone through life, and I don't mean to sound despondent today because I'm not despondent, but I am giving this a sort of an overview of thought because I want to try to understand what's happening. And what I've discovered as I've gone through life is that there are many, many, many people who will talk, and there are very few who will embark on the walk. Now, that's as far as I've got in my process of thinking about this issue, about this massive problem. It is literally, and I mean literally, a burning issue. I'm walking through these woodlands now, look, and you can see what I can see. Well, a part of it, because I see a bigger vista. But the lens picks up where I'm walking. This is woodland. Doesn't matter what happens anywhere in Ireland. This is woodland. This is going to stay woodland. And certainly from the resilience that I'm seeing now, and there's a massive amount of resilience because it's shaded, it's dark, it's moist, it's not going to be burned down easily. There's a beautiful covering, there's a leaf drop, there's habitat. This is all that I have ever desired in terms of being able to create something, to be able to co-create something. I mean, look at the food here. Can you see those blackberries, the brambles? Look at them. And the trees soaring up out of them. This whole idea, you know, of the EU and the Irish government that you go in and you just fence off a piece of land and you leave it and it becomes woodland. Complete and utter drivel. Nonsense. Bullshit. You go in and you plant it. You go in and you plant it, and you plant it with as much diversity and as much relationship to the land as you can garner. And here on this side now, look, just a complete swathe of meadowsweet. To say that the air around me is scented with the most heavenly scent is an understatement. It's just beautiful. This is the mythical Garden of Eden. So I'm just going to continue walking up through the woodland. We need to have less armchair warriors. It seems as though the internet has brought armchair warriors out en masse. And there's too much sitting about in armchairs. And again, this brings me to something else as well. I have deleted both Facebook and Twitter from my mobile phone, from my smartphone. Because again, it sort of harnessed me to something that was taking my time. So I just now have Facebook and Twitter on my laptop. So in the morning when I open up the laptop and I sit down to engage with the world, it's a more thoughtful process. It's not just, you know, putting out photographs or sharing stuff that is to do with politics, you know all the things that do not change the world. Has there ever been a politician who's changed the world? I don't think so. No, real change comes from action. You know, physical action, physical engagement. That's all wrong. Gone up that way now. So that's my little sort of mini rant, and it's not really a rant, it's an observation. And it's about taking no, it's not about blame. It's about shifting the perspective from what is the government doing, what are the politicians doing, what are the mandarins in the top level of government who are unelected doing. Well, we all know they're doing nothing. They never have done much to begin with. So we really have to look at ourselves, and we have to look at what it is that we can do. And I know a lot of you, because you know you're in contact via the comment section here and other social media platforms. Many of you are planting mini woodlands, mini habitats on whatever land you have, whether it's, you know, owned or rented. And when you collect up all the people who have done that, who have thought outside the box and thought in terms of, you know, turning their garden into like a little mini habitat for life. There must be the most huge change. You know, if you put it all together, it could possibly cover the entire county that I live in. And that's the feedback that I'm getting. So, yes, there's change, and yes, there's increasing possibility for more and more change. That's my Easter Island man, just here to remind us of what happens when you take all the trees away. The stupidity of destruction. Now there's a bit of a path there that's... I'll have to come down and do something with that. The trees have gone mad. This is lovely here. This is another one of the little paths that Terry cleared. And this is gorgeous, taking us round this way. So I've put some posts up on Twitter and on Facebook. Just photographs that I took yesterday of the woodland here, and just saying, you know, just basically saying what I've been saying for the past 14 years. If one woman can do all this without any grants, without any government funding, without any financial help, then there's no excuse. There's just no excuse. And I'm not making myself out to be anything special, because those who know me know that I'm not anything special. It's just a matter of, you know, having a picture in your head of how things should be and striving for that. And within that, everything is possible. And so you can walk and walk and walk these paths. They do seem to go on forever. And those who have visited Bealtaine on foot, you know, have said that it just seems like so much more than 2.87 acres. Because most of these walks that I take you on, we only sort of, you know, do one part of the land. Like this is the front of the land, the front of the cottage. But I'm just going to keep walking. See, there's areas in there that we don't get to, and then down here. Look at this, down that way. Jack says it's okay, I get to them all for you. I do a little tour de triomphe. So we'll go on up, walk on through. Go through this way. Don't know if you can hear the children over there, but they've got great lungs on them. Oh gosh, look at this. More path is closed up. To battle my way through here. Ooh. Now. I don't know where I've got the energy from this morning, because I was very sick all night, the entire night. I don't exaggerate at all now. I went to bed and I started to feel really bad. This is about 10 o'clock. And I felt really sick, and my stomach felt really, dreadful. I really felt very poorly. And I just knew, instinctively I knew it was something I had eaten. And I was in such a hot and flustered state, I couldn't even remember what it was I'd eaten, but I knew it was something. Anyway, cut a long story short, I spent the night just being sick, vomiting and feeling desperately ill. And so it was about 5 o'clock this morning when I finally then was what I would call violently sick. And so everything that had been causing me pain and discomfort finally came up. It was dreadful. But I know it was also quite a relief, I can tell you. Because you know yourself that when you finally just get rid of whatever it is that's causing the problem, it's just such a big relief. So I was very, very sick anyway, and I vomited quite a lot. And finally got to sleep at about 6 o'clock this morning. Fell into quite a deep sleep. Made sure I drank plenty of water. Carbonated water did help actually at one point. So, do you know what I realised it was? It was a sweet corn. I had bought, excuse me. I had bought a sweet corn in, I think it was Lidl or Aldi. And what happened was I had put it into a saucepan to cook it. And I'd cooked it, but I hadn't refrigerated it. And then I went back and reheated it. So that was obviously what caused the problem. So yeah, just a very pertinent reminder to be a bit more careful, you know, during heat. Now I've got some more prayer flags to hang up today, so I'm going to be doing that later on. Oh, there's something very lovely about this circle at the moment. I'm just going to stand in the middle of it. Oh gosh. Energy. Lovely. Beautiful energy. Now, I think what I'll do is I'll go down and I'll upload this video. So just huge blessings to you all, because this is Monday and there's so much to be thankful for this week, especially for me. There's been rain. My heart can rest easy knowing that all the beauty and all the abundance here has now got lots and lots of nourishment and promises to be a good week. So blessings to you all. And there's my darling Jack over there. I think he's got a little bone that he's eating.